All right, we are looking at lesson 121 today, rational inequalities. This is your last homework assignment. We'll have one more lesson tomorrow. And we came really close to finishing the book because I was going to skip lesson 123, 124, 125, 126, 127, and 128. No, they haven't finished it yet. We've got... Oh, okay. We were only going to do lesson 129, so we only had one more lesson to do. Yeah. Yep. So, anyway, we came close. So,
you were going to skip 129. Did we finish, guys?
Just about. We came really, really close. So, we are looking at rational inequalities today. What is different about this? We've got fractions. Yep. So, how could we get rid of the fraction? Multiply. Okay. Do we know if x minus 4 is positive or negative?
No.
So we can't exactly multiply by x minus 4 because it could be a negative number. And what happens if you multiply an inequality by a negative number? The sign flips. So what you need to do, and now x minus 4 is always going to be positive.
Wow, I do.
Okay, so we can't multiply by x minus 4 because that could be a negative number. And if you have 1 is less than negative 3, and you multiply by a negative 2, multiply by a negative 2, wait. Oh man. 1 is greater than negative 3. Now you have negative 2 is greater than 6. Is that true? Remember when you multiply by a negative number, this sign has to change. So we can't multiply by a negative number. So whatever this is squared has to be a positive number. Because if it was positive, well, it's still positive. And if it was negative, now it's positive. So you square it. Y'all with me on that part? Okay, so one of these factors cancels, right?
Oh my God.
One of them?
Wow.
Because you really have x minus 4 and then x minus 4. One of them cancels, but not both of them. Okay, so what is 1 times x minus 4 squared? Right? It is less than or equal to
X minus 8, negative 8 is x plus 16. Why is it squared in this? I don't know.
so that it gets it to be positive.
Oh, she was stuck.
We have a 1 here. So 1, we just drop off the 1. We just have x minus 4 squared. One set of x minus 4's cancels, and we're left with negative times x minus 4, which is negative x plus 4. So now we can factor this. How will it factor? X squared minus 8x plus 16. If you multiply it together, you're just factoring, distributing. X minus 4 times. All right? You with me? Okay, so does this look like a problem we've done in the past? Now what do we do? Okay, so x squared. Okay, does that look really familiar now? Okay, what do we do? Right, how will it factor? Are they going to be positive, positive, negative, negative, or a negative and a positive? Why negative and a positive? This is less than 0. It has to be negative. So the only way you can have a negative number is to multiply negative times a positive, or a positive times a negative. Since it's less than 0 or equal to 0, it has to be a negative number. This has to be something that's negative because it's less than 0. So it's either a negative times a positive, which is a negative, or a positive times a negative, which is a negative. So x minus 3 is negative, or x minus 4 is positive, or now my x minus 3 is positive, and my x minus 4 is negative. So if this one is negative, what would I do to make it negative? Less than or equal to 0. And if it's supposed to be positive, it's going to be greater than or equal to 0. Okay? Over here, if this one's supposed to be negative, what is it going to be? Or equal to 0. And this one is greater than or equal to 0. Y'all see where those come from? So now we just rewrite them. X is less than or equal to 3. X is greater than or equal to 4. X is less than or equal to 4. X is greater than or equal to 3. Okay, so which one do you use?
Use one that just use the one that's most inclusive. I'm not going in. Least.
Yeah, least.
Okay.
Okay.
I thought it always put together on the negative one.
Usually.
No, one on the test that was positive.
Yeah, it was a positive.
I got mine right.
Well, numbers that are less than 3, are they also greater than 4? Are there any numbers that are less than 3 that are also greater than 4?
Williams, you're checked out in the office. Jamie Williams, you're checked out in the office.
Why did you say it?
You got louder.
Okay, how would I graph numbers that are less than or equal to 4 but greater than or equal to 3? Okay, solid. And then do I shade in between or? Yeah. And that would be your graph. Because you write so big. It's not a bad thing. Yes. Because you write little bitty.
I wrote everything.
Yeah, I wrote your instructions, but I missed lesson 108. Somebody's notes. I need to copy them. I know, I need some of the first 5.
You probably don't want my notes. It's not there.
I don't have any of the first 5. Because I looked on my little tiny sheet of paper.
I need to start cheering on that. This is like
All right, here you go, Ben. Okay, let's look at another example. All right. What do we have to do first?
Multiply by x minus 3 squared.
Y by x minus 3 squared. Okay. You always want to square it. Yeah, you always want to square it. Because we don't, even if it was x plus 1, if x was negative 10, that'd be a negative number. So yeah, you always want to multiply by a squared. So over here, I do it as x minus 3 times x minus 3 instead of x minus 3 squared. Just so that you can see what's about to happen. One of these cancels. What is x minus 3 squared? I don't think so.
What do you
No, that's not his. I don't see anything of his. Okay. All right, so we have x squared minus 6x plus 9. And then what goes on the right side? Correct. All right, now we want it to be a 0 over here. So we have x squared minus 4x plus 3. All right, so Negative, negative, positive, positive, or negative and a positive?
Negative, negative.
Why?
Wait, we're upper.
This is less than 0. It has to be a negative number. So negative, positive. So you have x minus 3 is going to be my negative over here. So over here it's going to be my positive. See what? Oh, that's okay. It's okay. You just want to have one time where this one's positive and that one's negative, and then switch them on the other one. It's a negative. So it doesn't matter which side they're on. So if it's supposed to be negative, it's going to be less than 0, and it's supposed to be positive, it'll be greater than 0. So positive is greater than 0, negative is less than 0. Go with me? Okay, so x is less than 3, or x is greater than 1, x is greater than 3, x is less than 1. Okay, look in here. Numbers that are less than 3, are they also greater than 1? Over here, numbers that are less than 1, are they also greater than 3?
No.
All right, so how do we graph this? All right, so open circle at 1 and 3. And what do they do? Yeah, they go together. Any questions here? Over here, it doesn't work. Numbers that are less than 1 aren't also greater than 3.
Hold on, let me think about that.
Because you got numbers over here and over here. Those don't work. Yeah. Yeah, when they're positive, positive, and negative, negative, you mix and match. But when it's a negative and a positive, yeah. When it's positive, negative, you pick one side or the other. Okay, so I think we have one more. Yeah, I skipped it. Oh well. We'll go back to it. Last one. I did them out of order.
Wow.
Well, I don't.
Sean, you're excited about that?
But what?
Reading the whole story.
I'm very excited.
Don't worry. Already older.
Hey, no need.
What are you going to multiply by?
I didn't know that. No, I didn't know that. I'm just guessing. Okay.
What? Okay, okay.
I'm not talking about this. I don't like to get ideas. I'm not that smart.
What do you do? What do you do? Come on.
Oh, big chocolate. You just do you cross out one of them on the left side?
Okay.
Yeah.
Now what? So over on the left side, we're going to end up with m squared minus 4 less than or equal to m squared plus 8m plus 8. Now what? We will. I will in just a second. M squared plus 8m plus 12. Okay, we don't usually have it written like that, so I want to rewrite it. Now that's how we normally have it, right? So, do we want positive, positive, negative, negative, or positive, negative? Which is it? Okay, okay. Okay. Make sense? Y'all were saying it differently. So first, oh crud, we forgot to factor it. How do we factor it? Okay, now we factored it. Now, positive, positive, x plus 6 and m plus 2 greater than or equal to 0. Or m plus x, m plus 2 less than or equal to 0 if they're both negative. Okay, so m is greater than or equal to negative 6. M is greater than or equal to negative 2. M is less than or equal negative 6. M is less than or equal to negative 2. So which one do we pick?
Whoa, this confused me. How do you track it? Oh, you do one from each side.
One from each side.
Less than negative 6 and greater than negative 2.
Those two. Least inclusive, most restrictive. Okay. Okay. You want to pick the one of these that includes the fewest number of options. So like negative 6, there are some numbers that work for negative 6, but that don't work for this negative 2. Like negative 5 is greater than negative 6, but it's not greater than negative 2. Same thing over here. Some of them will work for this one, but they won't work for this number. Like negative 3, negative 4, negative 5.
That's the one part I actually kind of understand about this.
Let me go back. I read something in the book that's
Yeah, you already explained that part to us.
it's 110. Okay. All right. So all numbers that are greater than negative 6 are also greater than negative 2. So the numbers that are greater than negative 2 satisfy both conditions on the left. Like if they're greater than negative 2, they are also greater than negative 6. So negative 2 is the one you want to use because it is like the better one.
Because if it doesn't work for that one, it doesn't make sense.
Right. And then over here, all numbers that are less than negative 6 are also less than negative 2. And so negative 6 is the better one to pick over there.
So it's most. No, please.
Least inclusive, most restrictive.
I don't get how it's. Hold on. That's like.
You're-
Let me try. Okay, like for negative 2, if you pick that one, there's some that works for that one that don't work for negative 6. And so you can't pick that one because then it won't make sense. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're not talking about the numbers. You're talking about the space in between.
Okay, well, I thought we were talking about the numbers, so I thought we were talking about those.
No. You can do it that way too. So we got negative 2 and negative 6. They are closed circles. And then what?
They go down.
Make sense? Any questions on these?
No problem.